So my name's Lisa Williams. I founded the Edinburgh Caribbean Association back in 2016. It started very, very small, literally just finding people here who felt very isolated and felt like they were the only person of Caribbean heritage in the country. So it was really about social occasions to begin with. We linked up with a dance teacher and we used to go to dance classes, and then from there it's been really great working with lots of different kinds of institutions and festivals where we put on film nights, we put on poetry nights. We started at the Black History walking tours from 2018. So a lot of very intensive research into the Caribbean historical links with Edinburgh, particularly the 18th and 19th century, but also going to the 20th century as well. Work with a lot of museums and galleries, not just in Edinburgh, but also across the country. The Black History walking tours of Edinburgh cover a really wide expanse. So, you can go back to the 1500s, where you're talking about people of African descent being part of the royal court right here in Edinburgh Castle. I very much focus on the 18th and early 19th century. That's where my research is very much focused, but it's also where the statues and the buildings that we're walking past, particularly in the new town, do connect with. We then walk from the Melville Monument normally in St Andrew's Square. We go down George Street, and there are many, many stories that you can pull out about the Caribbean, but also with African American abolitionists coming here. Many people in Scotland working in solidarity with them over the 19th century. We may talk about the Pan-African movement that was huge in Edinburgh and very, very influential at the beginning of the 20th century, connected with the university here. So when I actually came across this gravestone of Malvina Wells, born in Carriacou, I was really quite amazed that she's actually buried here at the end of our main shopping street here in the centre of Edinburgh. So when I found out more about her story, knowing about her father, John Wells, who actually got a job on a ship going over to Grenada. He was on a ship and he actually got a job from the plantation owner in Carriacou of this plantation here called Grand Bay. And he got a job on Grand Bay. When he was there, he fathered two girls quite quickly, one after the other, with two different women. They decided to come to Scotland and actually bring Malvina with them. So Malvina was about 12 or 13. Her father wanted her to have a different experience. We know that her mother potentially was called Anne from the oral history of the island. So this is actually an image of a painting that is within the family's own archives. And this is Malvina here when she's about 25 years old with these two girls, Dorothea and Joanna, who are now in their teens. This was in Edinburgh. It looks like they've won a prize. One of them has won a prize for music, and maybe she was also their music teacher. She was their nanny, she was the head of the servants. She was able to leave a will with close to £70,000 in our money today. She was able to invest in places like Canada. But when you actually look a bit more closely, about 90% of the money ends up going back to the children in the family, and only £5 each goes to her niece and nephew, who were the son and daughter of her sister who was left behind in Carriacou. It's very unusual that somebody who was enslaved originally is buried in the centre of Edinburgh and buried with the family. So we know that she came at a time where enslavement was made very, very clear that it was not legal in Scotland, with the famous Joseph Knight case that finishes in 1778, where it's made absolutely clear enslavement in Scotland is not legal.